Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second New Hampshire Gives webinar of 2022. Last week, we leaped into messaging and branding, and this week we'll take a little step back to the basics and also hear about some new things coming up this year. One of the new things is a new prize that you may have heard about, the Training Titan Prize, which will be a $1,000 cash prize randomly drawn from all the organizations which are represented at one of our 4 webinars. So by being here today, your organization will be entered into the drawing. If you could help us out with accurate attendance and make sure that you change your name so that it says your full name and your organization, makes it much easier for us to figure out which organizations to throw into that drawing. We wanted to do this prize because the data shows that nonprofits that attend webinars on average raise twice as much as nonprofits that do not. So we just really kind of wanted to put another incentive out there to try to get people to come to these sessions because they do seem to be quite beneficial. That prize is made possible by our Training Titan sponsor, the People's United Bank. They've been our Training Titan sponsor since 2018, and their support has always helped to bring you these webinars. Today, we have our GiveGab partners on hand to share their extensive behind-the-scenes knowledge. For those of you who don't know, Laurel and Merlin have been assigned to New Hampshire Gives for a few years now, and they have become masters at making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it, and they're really responsible for keeping this show on track and moving forward. So without further ado, I'm going to give you Laurel and Merlin.
Wonderful. Thanks, Deborah, and thanks everyone for joining us today for the New Hampshire Gives 101 training session. As Deborah mentioned, myself, Laurel, and my colleague Merlin from GiveGab are on the call today representing the GiveGab side of things. GiveGab is the technology platform behind New Hampshire Gives. So if you've participated for several years, you probably recognize the name, but GiveGab is the platform that you log into when it comes to completing your profile or using the tools available to make the most out of your participation in New Hampshire Gives. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of great information for New Hampshire Gives, including some new stuff, and then for folks who might be new or participating for the first time this year, we'll go over some basics as well. So before we dive into all the fun content, just a couple housekeeping notes here. Everyone that's in the webinar today is on mute right now, just to keep the noise level at a minimum. So if you do have questions or you just want to say hi, we still want to hear from you. So go ahead and locate the chat box in your Zoom panel. And feel free to just say a quick hello, let us know your name and the organization that you represent so that your fellow webinar attendees can see who else is representing the state of New Hampshire on the call today. And then, of course, if you have questions throughout the webinar, please go ahead and submit them through the chat. Myself, Merlin, Deborah, and Kelly will all be monitoring the chat. So we'll try to answer questions as they come up, both written responses in the chat, and we'll also try to address them to the larger audience throughout the webinar. But we'll have time at the end for any questions that we can't get to in the moment for additional questions that come up or questions we weren't able to answer. So there will be time for Q&A at the end of today's session. And then before I dive into the agenda, I also just want to let you all know that today's session is being recorded. You may have seen that notification when you joined, that you had to confirm that you understand it's being recorded. And so if you want to watch the recording again later or share with a colleague, you will be able to do so. The recording and the slides will be added to the trainings page on the newhampshiregives.org website, likely by the end of the week. So look out for that. Now, in terms of what we're going to cover today, I'm going to start with what's new for those who might be returning. You're New Hampshire Gives experts, and you just want to find out what the exciting new stuff is that we have planned for this year. So we'll cover that first. But then for those of you who, again, might be a little bit newer to New Hampshire Gives, maybe it's your organization's first time participating, or your organization has participated in the past, but you are new to New Hampshire Gives yourself. We'll give an overview of what it is, why it's important to participate, some great incentives that you have available to you. And then we'll talk a little bit about who GiveGab is and how how we're involved in New Hampshire Gives beyond just what I mentioned a moment ago about supporting the profile and the tools. And then finally, we'll dive into creating your New Hampshire Gives profile. We'll spend the majority of today's session talking through that, building out your profile and making sure that you have a beautiful and informative page for New Hampshire Gives. And then finally, like I said, we'll have time for next steps and questions and answers at the end. So with that, let's dive right into what's new. And I'm actually going to pass it back over to Deborah to reveal some of the most exciting new stuff that we have.
Yes, you can go on to the next slide. We heard you guys, we heard your donors, we listened to all kinds of feedback about the matching dollars over the past couple of years. And then we went out and did some research. What are other giving days doing? What's best practice? What's fairest? And we have decided that we're going to do a bonus pool with the matching dollars this year. So there will not be a dollar for dollar site-wide match. There will be a bonus pool. And the bonus pool is a proportional match. So instead of counting on your donors to give during a specific time and hope that they get in time, every donation made online will count towards your share of the bonus pool. We don't know how much that is yet. We're working on it. And as soon as we know, you'll know. We don't kind of hold that information back from you. It takes some time to reach out to the donors and get the funds secured. So how it works is that you do have to raise at least $300 online between 5 p.m. on June 7th and 5 p.m. on June 8th. And so only the organizations that raise that amount, that is the money that'll count towards the total raised for the bonus pool. So the total amount of the bonus pool, how much we get for quote unquote matching funds, the total online donations raised by organizations that meet the criteria, and the amount that your organization raises are the things that will contribute to how much you earn of the bonus pool. The formula, how much you raised divided by the total amount raised times the amount of the bonus pool gives you your share, which is really complicated sounding, but let's say, I'll just give you an example. Let's say we had $200,000 for the bonus pool, and organizations that raised more than $300 each raised exactly $3 million. Your organization raised $12,000, which is 0.4% of the total. You take 0.4% times the bonus pool and you get an $800 bonus pool for your organization. So we took last year's numbers and figured out, like, if this had been a bonus pool, how would it have looked? And the average and the median of how much each organization received would have been very, very similar. It's the people that were on the outside of the bell curve, the people who had really savvy donors and were like totally on top of those matching times, that will probably, their share may shrink a little. And the people who may have earned a whole lot of money, but their donors weren't the ones that got on at the right times, theirs may grow a little. So we think that bringing everybody closer to the middle is a really fair way to do it. So that's what we're looking at doing. Kelly's going to put a link in the chat to the new FAQs that are on the FAQs page of New Hampshire Gives, that are just related to the bonus pool. We'll continue to update that as we hear more questions and come up with more answers. So if you do have questions that are not answered by that, definitely shoot us an email at nhgives@nhnonprofits.org. And I'm sure there will be lots of questions. So you can go on to the next slide. The other thing, which we just finalized this morning actually, is that CosVid has reached out wanting to give you guys all some free stuff. They are a company that does personalized videos that you can email to your donors. And they're reaching out to giving days across the country and giving a free trial. And the important thing about this free trial, and I made sure of this, is you do not have to give credit card information anywhere. So it's completely free. It will be free from the time you sign up until 90 days after June 8th, so into September. And it's kind of cool. I talked to some of the Giving Days that used it last year, and it allows you to just go into this platform and say, I want to send a thank you to Laurel, and here's her email address, and here's the message that I want to send, and then I'm going to videotape myself saying something to Laurel. So I would say, hey, Laurel, thank you for giving during New Hampshire Gives. Your donation is so important to us. You know, we really appreciate it. And that's how simple it can be. You can add more information, but really 10, 15, 20-second videos. And then you click send and it goes to your donor and they can click on the link and watch your personalized message to them. So I'm really interested to see how people might use this. I think you could use it before and after, because I think, like, let's say you have peer-to-peer fundraisers, and like right before you want to get them totally jazzed. So you could send out a video that says, hey, thanks for being a peer-to-peer fundraiser for our organization. Here's what you need to know. And they would, know that they're special and that they're part of what you're doing. So the link, do not go to CauseVid and sign up right now. Don't. Just, if you get nothing out of this, just don't do that. Wait until you get a special link from us. It's a co-branded page that will say New Hampshire Gives on it, and that is the page where you will sign up and be eligible for this extended free trial. We will be sending that out to admins next week. So if you're an admin for your organization and you get the emails that have been coming out every week, you will get this next week. If you're not an admin for your organization and you want to be, again, email us at nhgives@nhnonprofits.org to let us know that you'd like to be an admin as well, and we can put you on that list. So that's the two exciting things that I have. You'll get more information about both of these things next week as well. And I'm going to turn it back to Laurel.
Wonderful. Thanks, Deborah. Those are two really exciting things. So I'm happy to hear about them. I'm excited to see what comes with the use of CauseVid, and also very excited to see the bonus pool. It's such a great way to keep things fair. So moving on to more exciting new stuff that we have this year. New this year, we have the opportunity for supporters to purchase e-cards, which can be given to family members, friends, coworkers, or other people in an individual's network in advance of New Hampshire Gives. So this is essentially a digital gift card that is specifically set up to be redeemed on the New Hampshire Gives website during the giving day once donations open. So essentially, when an individual purchases or buys an e-card, they have the opportunity to then send that via email to a designated recipient. And that recipient can use that to make a donation to their favorite nonprofit or multiple nonprofits on the giving day. So when the recipient has an e-card, all they need to do is select the e-card payment option when making their donation. So for those of you who may have made a donation on the site in the past, you know that there's the credit card option. You can donate with Apple or Google Pay, and you can also donate with ACH. Well, now you have the opportunity to donate via e-card. So any e-card recipient can use that to redeem the funds. The fees for the gift are charged to the initial purchaser of the e-card, just to ensure that the receiving organizations get the full intended donation and the e-card recipient doesn't have the obligation of deciding whether to cover the fees. So just a little bit more on how this works. To purchase an e-card, there's two ways to do that. The first is going to the landing page of nhgives.org or newhampshiregives.org and locating the banner right at the top of the page that says share the joy of giving back, which looks just like this. The second way to purchase an e-card would be to go to the e-card FAQ page, which Kelly shared in the chat. And there is a link to purchase e-cards from that page as well. So there's two kind of avenues to get there. If you're going from the banner, you can click the send an e-card button. There's a similar button on the FAQ page as well. And then once you are redirected to a page to purchase the e-card, you'll be given the opportunity to customize some details. So here you can customize the card amount. and the recipient information. So you can add their name, email, and customize a message. So if I wanted to send an e-card to Deborah, I would put her name and email there, and then I would write her a message about how excited I am to inspire her with this gift to give or redeem later during New Hampshire Gives. And then the next step would be, as the e-card purchaser, just submitting your payment using a credit card, and the information, all the details will automatically be sent to the recipient. And something that's great about this feature is that you can purchase multiple e-cards in one transaction. So there is a button down at the bottom of the page that says add another e-card. So if you wanted to send a card to several different individuals, you can do that all in one purchase, and each of them will get their own separate details. So it's a great new feature. Sorry, I have more thoughts on e-cards before I move on. It's a really exciting new feature to help inspire folks to give. If you know someone, for example, who has never given during New Hampshire Gives before, this is a really great way to inspire them to make their first gift. This is also a great thing to use for maybe some younger folks in our lives. Maybe there are young people who you want to start inspiring the spirit of philanthropy in. So for those individuals, you could purchase an e-card on their behalf and encourage them to redeem that gift or that e-card rather during New Hampshire Gives by identifying their favorite nonprofit. There's a question about how redeemed e-cards will show up in the GiveGab portal, whether that will be by the purchaser of the e-card or the recipient. Very good question. So for folks who are redeeming e-cards, the donor information will be that of the person who redeemed it. So GiveGab considers the donor to be the person who is redeeming that e-card. So those are the details that will appear in the donation report. And when a e-card recipient is using or redeeming their e-card, they'll go through the normal donation process just like any other donor. So they'll be asked to enter in their name, email, and mailing address, and those are details that you as the receiving nonprofit will get in your donation report. The key difference is just that the folks redeeming their e-card are using a different payment method than, say, someone donating with a credit card. There's also a question about what happens if the e-card is not redeemed. Very good question. E-cards are valid for 2 years. So if someone were to purchase an e-card this year and it doesn't get redeemed or it doesn't get fully redeemed, maybe it's partially redeemed, but not completely used up this year, there is still a whole additional year that information can be used. So in theory, the donor could use the remainder of the e-card the following year for New Hampshire Gives. After 2 years, if the funds are still not redeemed, they ultimately go, any unused or unredeemed funds would ultimately go to the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits for them to use, potentially in future years in maybe a bonus pool or other incentives or other opportunities to help kind of, promote the Giving Day or, add to great things that can inspire philanthropy in the community. If you have additional questions about e-cards, go ahead and let us know, and also definitely check out that FAQ page, or feel free to go through and review the purchasing process yourself if you're curious to see what that looks like. Another great addition that we have this year is an update to the peer-to-peer sign-up process that allows peer-to-peer fundraisers to add a campaign name. So when folks are signing up as a peer-to-peer fundraiser, in addition to supplying their first and last name and their email address, they will now see the opportunity to add a campaign name, which is optional for their page. And this campaign name would override what they've entered in as their first and last name. So this is a really great option for folks who maybe want to fundraise as a team or a group and share a page. I've also seen folks who maybe sign up, a couple signs up and wants both of their names to be listed on the page. So in the past, you might have seen that fundraisers who want to have a team name or group name will use the first and last name field to as kind of a workaround and enter a group name in the first and last name field. But this year we do have a designated field for that information. And that way your nonprofit will be able to see the actual individual behind the page that signed up so that you can better communicate with them and you understand who's representing that group. But the public will see the campaign name. So that campaign name is what will be on the public peer-to-peer fundraising profile. And then additionally, this year, we've added peer-to-peer fundraiser gift designations to donation receipts. So if Merlin is a peer-to-peer fundraiser and I donate through his peer-to-peer fundraising page, in my donation receipt, there will be an additional line this year that reflects Merlin's fundraiser as the peer-to-peer fundraiser that I gave to, in addition to all my other gift details. So this will help donors further confirm that their gift was successfully attributed to a peer-to-peer fundraising page. We've also added some reconciliation enhancements or improvements this year in the GiveGab dashboard. So in addition to the existing donation reports that you have, we've provided some new insights that will allow you to better manage deposits that are coming into your bank account. So we have a financial reporting dashboard, which can be seen here. And this allows you to view your balances at a glance. You can see the donations that have been paid out in any given lump sum on a particular date. And you can also view any refunds that may be associated with your account. So this can provide really helpful insight into anyone who is doing, the financial reporting or accounting or reconciliation at your organization. And will also better help you match the gifts that you're receiving to the payouts that are being deposited into your bank account. This page, this financials dashboard, is accessible within the reports tab in your overall GiveGab dashboard. So if you're logged into GiveGab and you're looking for this, you'll want to look on the left side of your page and identify the reports tab. And when you click on that, you'll see two options, either a donation report or a financials page. Go ahead and click on the financials page and it will bring you here. Another very exciting thing that we've added this year is an analytics dashboard. So there's a couple of things that you can do with this dashboard. The first is that you can view some key stats specific to New Hampshire Gives 2022. You can see here there is total stats at a glance. You can look at a breakdown of online donations and offline donations. Offline donations would be matches and challenges or prizes that your organization is receiving. So if you're curious about the breakdown of those gifts, you'll be able to see that too. It's just a little bit cropped off in my screenshot, but you would just have to scroll down in the page. And then you can also see fee coverage stats. So if you're curious about, the donation fees that may have been covered specifically for your organization, you can see a breakdown of that information as well. And then another great exciting addition to this is a year-over-year tab right here. So if you've participated in New Hampshire Gives for a couple years or many years now, you'll actually be able to click on the year-over-year tab and see a breakdown of past donations, how much you've raised, how many donors have given to your page, and how many gifts have been made during every New Hampshire Gives year that you've participated in. And these will appear in charts so that you can easily compare and contrast. The 2022 data will also be visible in the year-over-year charts so that you can directly compare progress for your participation in 2022 to progress that you've had in previous years. So that should help you measure how you're doing each year. You can access this information within your New Hampshire Gives 2022 dashboard. Right at the top of your page, below the title and to the right of the logo here, you'll see an analytics button that you can click on at any point. Now, if you're looking for this right now, you'll be able to access this tab, but you're not going to see stats here quite yet. But starting on the giving day, as soon as donations start coming in, you will be able to see those stats and they'll update throughout the day. We have also enhanced the search feature a bit this year. Now, the general format of the search still looks the same, and the fields by which donors can search are the same. But the updates include making results appear much faster. In the past, supporters would need to type in or select a cause category from the menu here and then click a search button for results to appear. But this year, what we've done is remove the need to actually click search or initiate a search for content. As soon as a donor starts typing into the search field, or as soon as they select a cause from the dropdown or start typing in a location, applicable results will begin to appear. So this is happening much more quickly, sorry. Forgive me, very excited about the speed. Results will appear more quickly than they have in the past, and they'll adjust as you continue typing. So, your results can get more and more narrow the more that you type. We've also increased accuracy based on keywords. So the keywords that the site is going to look for depend on what you've entered into your profile. So for example, your organization name is the kind of highest prioritized words or content. So if someone were to search for your exact organization's name, of course, that would be the top priority, or any words that are in your organization's name or title. The next highest priority in terms of search results would be text in your story. So for example, let's say that I wanted to search for organizations that support animals in some way. Now, I could search by the cause category, but I could also type in animals into the search box. And if your nonprofit has animals in your title, you would appear highest on the list. And if you have the word animals in your story section, you would also appear in the results on the list, but just below those who have animals in the title. So that's how the search prioritizes that information. So essentially, any words that you have in your title or in your story are what's going to correspond to the search results that folks are typing in. And then finally, another new component to this year is that the search accounts for typos. So if I misspell New Hampshire, I might still be able to get results that are close as possible to that, and pull up, for example, you can see here the New Hampshire Fiddle Ensemble. That group would still come up even if I had a typo. So it helps folks who might be trying to search very quickly to get those results without updating their typo or seeing an error message. So that is the exciting stuff that's new. So again, thanks to those who may have been joining us this morning specifically to see or hear more about the new enhancements that we've been working on and those exciting components. Excuse me. We're going to spend the rest of our time here focusing on a more general overview of New Hampshire Gives, how GiveGab is involved in the platform, and how to set up your page. So again, for those who might be new this year, again, whether it's you as the contact person or your organization as a whole is new to New Hampshire Gives, now we're going to sort of back up a little bit and look at things a little bit more high level. So if the things I was just mentioning felt a little bit out of context or unclear, hopefully diving into the overview will help clarify that. So New Hampshire Gives is happening online at nhgives.org from June 7th to June 8th. The Giving Day starts at 5 p.m. and ends at 5 p.m. on the 7th and ends at 5 p.m. on the 8th. So 24 hours of giving, and donations will open right at 5 p.m. on June 7th. Every participating nonprofit is going to conduct their own unique campaign and market the Giving Day to their supporters. But the idea is that as a collective and statewide event, with every participating nonprofit spreading the word, we have the ability to reach more and more people. And the more people that your nonprofit reaches or other nonprofits reach means there are more people coming to the site and getting exposed to all the other great organizations in the state that they may not be familiar with. The fantastic thing about a Giving Day like this is that at GiveGab, our data shows that donors give on average to about 3 nonprofits during a Giving Day. So that means that while each organization might have their own outside events or other campaigns going on throughout the year, donors only have the opportunity during those campaigns or events to give to one organization. But the idea is for New Hampshire Gives, we have a collective site that almost serves as a directory of opportunities to be philanthropic in the state. So a donor might hear from your organization that New Hampshire Gives is happening, or from another organization, and they come to the site looking to donate to one specific organization, but hang out and they browse around and they look for other organizations that they may also want to support. So the idea is that you can reach many new donors through this collective day of giving. In order to participate, you must be an IRS recognized nonprofit serving the state of New Hampshire. And there are other components. The New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits will be reviewing folks who do apply to participate and make sure that you are otherwise in good standing in the state of New Hampshire and eligible to participate in that way. I already mentioned the main benefit, one of the main benefits, I should say, of participating, which is that exposure and being part of a more collective day. But there are so many great benefits to participating in a day like this. Another one is the just learning how to use fundraising tools that are online or digital, and taking advantage of some other resources in GiveGab that are available year round. So we do have some fantastic tools in the GiveGab platform that allow peer-to-peer fundraising, for example, which I touched on just a moment ago. We have the ability for nonprofits to add matches or challenges to their page to help incentivize giving. And of course, we have a lot of resources to assist nonprofits with marketing and spreading the word. So if you're not used to virtual or digital online fundraising, this is a great kind of entry point for that. It's also a great opportunity to re-engage with your existing supporters or gain new donors. So I mentioned, you can have a lot of exposure to new donors on the Giving Day, but you may also have existing supporters who, gave during a campaign a couple years ago or last year, and you want to reach back out to them to keep them engaged and continuing to give throughout the year. There's so much marketing that goes into New Hampshire Gives. I know that the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits works incredibly hard to make sure that there is exposure for the Giving Day so that folks are seeing messaging about this and coming to the site. And all of that is done on behalf of all of you as participating nonprofits. The goal is to spread the word to as many people in the community as possible. But the Giving Day also relies on each individual nonprofit to spread the word as well, because you are already in touch with your own supporters and your own network. And so the more that you can reach out to them and get them involved, the wider the exposure will be. You can utilize the Giving Day to reach internal goals beyond, just raising money. So this might be a good opportunity to get your board more involved with giving. It might be a good opportunity to, increase your, digital marketing kind of savvy, or gain followers on social media. There are so many ways that you can engage with folks that are involved in your nonprofit for the Giving Day that go just beyond encouraging people to donate. And this is a really great opportunity to do that. And then finally, because there are prizes and incentives like that bonus pool Deborah mentioned earlier, this is a really fantastic opportunity to motivate donors to make a greater impact. When a donor gives on New Hampshire Gives, their gift is ultimately going to go further, again, because they're helping you qualify for those bonus pool funds, or they may be helping you reach a prize, or if you've secured matching funds, their gift is going to get matched and help you raise, double what you would with just the gift alone. So there's a lot of great ways to motivate donors and make them feel like their gift is going further. So there are more benefits, but that's all I'll talk about right now. I could probably go on forever, so I got to cut myself off at some point. If you're not excited about participating after hearing all that, hopefully there's more content here that will get you there. But anyway, in terms of who GiveGab is and what it means to be the technology platform behind the Giving Day, just a quick overview. Our mission is to make it incredibly easy for fundraising professionals to be great at their jobs. And so what that means is hosting a secure, fast, reliable, and transparent platform for New Hampshire Gives, not only for you as a nonprofit, again, to create a profile, but also for donors to give. We want the donation process to be simple, easy to use and understand, and also fun. So we set out to do just that. And then we also have a dedicated platform support team. So some of you may already be familiar with this, but we do have a live support team via either chat or email that you can reach out to for technical help or questions. And we're always happy to help with any questions that you have. In terms of donation security and the security of your own nonprofit, we have partnered with Stripe as a payment processor. Stripe is a PCI level 1 payment processor for donation processing, and it's really well regarded in the payment processing industry. There are a lot of large brands that use Stripe because it is a trusted payment processor. By signing up, you will be asked to provide bank account information along with other information, which I'll talk about a little later on. But by doing this, by collecting that information rather, we're able to deposit the donations that you receive directly into your bank account within 5 to 7 business days of the date that the donation was received. All of the donor credit card information is not saved or visible in GiveGab. It's all essentially encrypted and securely passed on to Stripe, who does the payment processing. GiveGab essentially retrieves, the basic information about the donor, how much they gave, their address and name and email, so that you can have that in your donation report. And then we do verify that all participating organizations are IRS and state recognized nonprofits eligible to receive tax-deductible donations. A little bit more on donation processing. We accept all major credit cards. And for folks who might want to give via ACH, there is the opportunity for them to log directly into their bank account and transfer funds via that payment method as well. I mentioned that we want to make that donation process quick, easy, and fun. So, that is the goal. It's just a quick 3-step process. There are ways that donors can further connect to their gift, like making their gift in honor or in memory of someone. They can identify as a new donor. There's a lot of great ways for them to kind of make their further connect with their gift or make a greater impact. And then on the donation form, that GiveGab support team is available and will be ready to answer any questions during the giving day. So if donors, have questions or need help making their gift, our team is there and happy to help. A little bit more on donations. I've mentioned earlier that we allow credit card gifts, ACH gifts, and mobile payment gifts. So this would be Apple Pay or Google Pay. And then of course, we also have e-card as a payment option for those who have been sent an e-card. I mentioned a little bit about fees, but there are fees for all gifts made on the giving day. These include platform and credit card processing fees. Any credit card transaction does incur fees, and then the platform fees are there to help support things like, the GiveGab security, quick donation processing, the support team, etc. When it comes to the fees, though, donors actually have the opportunity to cover those on behalf of the receiving organization. And so you can see here that when a donor is submitting their gift on the kind of final step of the donation form where they can review their details, they'll see the opportunity to cover fees and the total amount available, the total amount that is transacted after fees are covered. And last year for New Hampshire Gives 2021, 76% of donors covered fees. What that meant is that on average, it only cost a participating organization $1.86 for every $100 that they raised online. And by cost, I mean in fees. However, the fees are deducted from the total amount that your organization receives. So there isn't any additional payments that you have to make once you're signed up in GiveGab and receiving donations. The fees would just be deducted from your final payout. So this makes it an incredibly cost-effective option, even though there are fees for you to fundraise. So a breakdown of what the fees actually are. I mentioned there's a platform fee. Then I also mentioned there's a credit card processing fee, but there is a separate ACH fee. So the first breakdown here for the credit card option, this includes not only standard credit card gifts, but also any mobile pay gifts. So again, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or even Microsoft Pay for donors who have that. So for this payment option, there's a 3.5% platform fee, and then there is a 2.5% transaction fee plus 30 cents. And so that comes out to 6% plus 30 cents per transaction for folks giving with the credit card payment method. For folks giving via ACH, again, that's the bank account option, there is a initial $100 donation minimum to qualify for that payment option. But for donors who do qualify, there's a 3.5% platform fee plus a flat $3 bank processing fee. So that fee breakdown ends up as 3.5% plus $3 per transaction. In addition to the fee coverage component, I mentioned earlier that donors on average give to about 3 different organizations during a giving day. And one of the reasons that we see that is because we have this great gift basket feature. I'm assuming that most people on this call, if not everyone, has done a little bit of online shopping at some point in their lives, maybe especially in recent times in the last couple of years. So you can think of this as your online shopping cart for New Hampshire Gives and for your donations. So donors are able to add nonprofits to their cart. They're able to shop around essentially on the site and find nonprofits to give to. And then when they're ready to check out, they can either click on this gift basket icon or go to the donation form and customize all the details for each individual gift. Once a donor is on this page, let's say they selected 1 or 2 nonprofits, they will also see this button to add another organization. So even when they're at this step in the donation form, they can continue to add nonprofits to give to. donors can give to up to 10 nonprofits at one time in their gift basket. And for really generous donors who want to give to more, they would just donate to the first 10, and then they could go back and repeat the process for however many remaining nonprofits they want to give to. Finally, when a donor makes their gift, they will instantly receive a thank you message and receipt. This is a little overview or outline of what that receipt looks like. It comes directly from the contact person that's listed for your organization, though the email is automatically sent by GiveGab. So there's a personalized touch, even though it's an automated email. This email also includes your organization's EIN and the full donation amount. If a donor chose to cover fees, for example, their full donation amount would include the amount they paid after covering fees. And this serves as their tax deductible receipt. So it's a thank you message and receipt all tied into one. Now, I mentioned that GiveGab has a support team. I do want to highlight that here. We have a couple ways that, if you have questions, you can get in touch with us. So the first thing I want to highlight is our help center, which is at support.givegab.com. This is an incredible resource, especially if you're someone who prefers to maybe look up resources yourself, or you like to read instructions or look at screenshots. We have various collections here, but you can also search for keywords. So maybe I want to search some information about getting verified, for example, to receive donations. By searching for keywords, you can find results shared with you and look for the appropriate article to help guide you through. So we have written instructions, screenshots, etc. We also have a blog where we talk a little bit about fundraising tips and tricks. This is more general. It's not necessarily GiveGab platform specific, but if you want more fundraising ideas for the giving day, you can check that out. But of course, if you prefer to talk to a real person, or if you have specific questions or need help troubleshooting, I have mentioned this, but we have a real support team of real people who are happy to help. So you can either send us an email at customersuccess@givegab.com, or you can chat with our support team. Just look for the blue chat bubble, which is found on the bottom right corner of any GiveGab page or any New Hampshire Gifts page. So the team is there and happy to help. Okay, now I want to dive into actually completing your profile for New Hampshire Gifts. So the first thing I'll mention is that if your organization has participated in the past, once you apply to participate, you'll probably see a message like this that says, "Welcome to another giving day," and gives you the option or the prompt to copy a profile from a previous year. So you can absolutely do this to save a little bit of time if you've customized your profile in the past. However, we really encourage you to review the content that you're copying over once you've done that, and maybe see if you can make some updates to make sure that the content on your page is current, it's up to date, it reflects your organization's kind of most immediate needs as of this year. We know that a lot can change year to year, so it's possible that the needs or the messaging that your organization shared in New Hampshire Gives 2021 is different this year. So make sure that you're reviewing that information and updating it. Additionally, any existing bank account information that you've supplied in previous years will carry over, but you may need to provide updates to that bank information. And I'm going to talk about that more in a moment. So this is what we call your Giving Day checklist. You can find this in your Giving Day dashboard. Going back quickly, if you're in your dashboard and you're not immediately seeing that checklist, first, you might need to copy your profile. But then after that, you might need to just scroll down a little bit. For those who participated in the past, we just reorganized the dashboard slightly. So the information might be a little bit that you're looking for might be a little bit lower on the page than it has been in the past. So each of these is a tab that you can work through, and I'm going to go through each one of these in just a moment. But one thing I'll note is that you don't have to complete this all in one sitting. You can start working on it, save your changes, and then go back and make changes later on. And the green check marks represent a completed section. So the goal is to get all green check marks here as you work through it. So the first section is just your organization's basic information. Here you can provide a logo, your website, and you can select up to 3 custom causes. I mentioned earlier that the search functionality allows donors to search by cause. So if you enter a cause into any of these 3 boxes here from the dropdown of pre-selected cause categories, you will appear in the search results for that cause. So again, this is a really great way to gain exposure to new donors who might be searching, like I gave the example earlier, of an organization that supports animals, but they're not exactly sure which organization they want to give to yet. We do have some new causes this year listed here. So be sure to check these out. And if your organization is copying over a profile, take a look at the causes that you have listed and see if there's any updates that you'd like to make, or that could, anything from this list that might be a little bit more applicable than the current causes that you have. The next section prompts you to curate your story. This is a really important section of your page. Here you can add a cover photo. You can set a monetary goal and choose to display the goal on your profile. One thing to note about the goal functionality is that if you do set a goal, it won't become visible until New Hampshire Gives officially begins at 5 p.m. on June 7th. So if you click that display a goal on profile checkbox and don't see it quite yet, don't worry, it will show up when the giving day begins. And then you can customize the story on your page. This story section is sort of like the heart and soul of your profile. This is where you tell people, potential supporters, what it is that you do, why you're raising money for New Hampshire Gives, and how that money is going to help you continue your mission or meet needs in the community. This is a great way to connect with potential supporters on a more personal or emotional level. Though you could add something like a mission statement here, this isn't the place to just give broad overviews. This is really about what the impact is that your organization has on the community. So I do recommend thinking through the story section here. We actually have a training on the trainings page. It's a pre-recorded GiveGab training session that talks through storytelling. So if you're not really sure where to start with your story, I do recommend checking out that short video that walks you through it. So the next component, the next section here is getting verified on GiveGab. So here you'll be prompted to attest that you are compliant with applicable state fundraising laws, enter some basic info about your organization, enter your banking information, and account representative information. This is different from the initial application that you've submitted to sign up to participate. And I mentioned earlier that if you're returning, you may need to update your information. So just a quick note on this, I want to call attention to the fact that recently financial regulators have begun to enforce additional verification requirements for payment processors, and this is at a national level. So these payment regulations are put in place, or the goal of them is to create a safer, more secure financial ecosystem and prevent things like money laundering, fraud, tax evasion, or other crimes. And I know that all sounds very serious, but of course, payment processors and financial regulators have to take these things very seriously. So for organizations that may have participated in New Hampshire Gives in the past and already provided this information, you may be required to provide some updated information either about your organization or the account representative that you have listed. So please keep an eye out for an email from the GiveGab process coordinator named Jessica with instructions on how to provide this information. If this sounds familiar, if you've received an email from Jessica, know that it's real. This is serious. We do need you to update this information. So it's not fake or scam or anything like that. But if you do have questions, please let us know. And when providing this updated information, you'll be doing so directly through a secure portal that's connected with Stripe. So this is secure. I mentioned earlier that Stripe has the highest level of PCI compliance available, which has to do with essentially security and how data is handled. So this is done through a secure portal. And it's important because you do need, if you're asked to supply additional information, that is something that you will have to do in order to receive donations during New Hampshire Gives. So please be on the lookout for messaging. If you're not sure if this applies to you, you can always reach out to the GiveGab support team for questions or for help. And then this is a quick screenshot of that verification page and some of the sections that you'll be prompted to complete. The next section on your page is donation levels. So you can suggest donation amounts for folks to give when they visit your page. This is a really cool opportunity to customize the information that's visible and give donors very specific prompts. You can add custom amounts. So the example here we have is 25, 50, 100, and 500, but you could get very specific here. You could have a donation level that is $28.33, for example. Why would you want to have a donation level that's $28.33? Well, that's a great question. The idea here is that you can really customize these suggested donation amounts to actual outcomes or impact at your organization or tangible things. So for example, this suggested amount right here says provides 1 week of food for a senior pup. So you can add a description and an image to the suggested amount. Let's say it takes $28.33 to buy classroom supplies for one student for a year, for example. That's a donation level that you can put right here so that each donor coming to your page knows, well, if I give it this amount, I can see or understand a very tangible impact or outcome at the organization. You can add unlimited suggested amounts, but we recommend about 3 to 4. Usually that's kind of the sweet spot and makes it so the page doesn't get too long with all these suggested amounts. And then the next section here allows you to personalize the thank you message. So I mentioned earlier that GiveGab will automatically send a thank you message and receipt. This is your opportunity to customize what's visible in that thank you message. So here you can add the text that appears in the message, and then you can choose to add either a video or an image. Though the section here gives the opportunity for both, just one is going to show up if you add both. If you add a video and an image, the video would show up by default. So think about which one might be best for your organization and go ahead and enter that in for an additional customized touch. And then I mentioned that the email is sent by GiveGab, but shows the name of your organization's admin or contact person. The reply to email will also be your organization's contact person. So if the donor has questions or wants to get in touch, when they reply to the thank you email, it'll go right to your contact person for faster connection. The last section in this checklist allows you to add or invite peer-to-peer fundraisers. So peer-to-peer fundraisers are individuals that sign up to fundraise on behalf of your nonprofit for New Hampshire Gives. They create their own personal page and share that out with their own network. And any donations made through their page automatically roll up into your nonprofit's totals and go directly to your organization's bank account. So this is where you can add, invite, or manage fundraisers. And we do have a webinar coming up on advanced strategies for peer-to-peer fundraising and donor acquisition. That is on Wednesday, April 20th at 10 a.m. So you can go ahead and sign up for that. There's a link on the trainings page at nhgives.org and also the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits website. And because the slides will be available to you within a couple of days, you can also click on the link right here if you're happening to review the slides. There are some other key, and Kelly just shared the link to the trainings page in the chat. Thanks, Kelly. There are some other great tools available to you that you'll find below the checklist items that I just went through. So there's some donation tools, there's links to the toolkit and our help center right here to help you get prepared. And then there's other actions over here in addition to a page sharing location. While we don't have time to go into all of these options today, know that there are resources in our support center for them. So if you have a question about certain items here, this help center location is a great place to start, and our team can answer questions as well. But really quickly, I do want to talk about the managed sponsor matching component. So matches and challenges are pledged offline gifts, which means they're not transacted through the New Hampshire Gives donation platform. And you can use these as donor incentives to increase impact. So these pledged donations can be added to your New Hampshire Gives page as either a match or a challenge. And they would be displayed and, letting donors know, for example, if it's a match, if you give, your gift will be doubled dollar for dollar. So it's a great way to further incentivize folks to give. And GiveGab does have a matching tool that automatically processes these and counts the donations that are coming through so that it takes all of the kind of work off of your end. You don't have to manage or really, be manually matching anything. The GiveGab platform just does it right for you. And there is an upcoming webinar on this topic as well on Wednesday, April 6th at 10 a.m. So again, you can sign up for that. There's a link on the trainings page that Kelly shared. So check it out because the matching feature and the peer-to-peer fundraising feature are two tools that can really take your fundraising to the next level for New Hampshire Gives. We generally find that organizations who use either of these tools tend to raise more than those who do not. So definitely check out that content. And then finally, if you want to share your profile, first, we recommend previewing your profile along the way. As you're making edits, as you're customizing your story and adding donation levels, take a look at your profile. You'll see the opportunity to share your page and a preview your profile button here in the other actions column. So you can either click this or copy and paste the link that you find here. The link here is your organization's personalized and specific link to your page. So when it comes to spreading the word for New Hampshire Gives and letting donors and supporters know that you're participating and you'll be fundraising, this is the link that you'll want to share. You also have the opportunity to click either of these icons to post directly to Facebook or Twitter. And by doing that, a pop-up will appear. You don't even have to navigate away from your page and you can still post the link. So I quickly want to share 2 examples of a completed profile for you to see in case you want some inspiration. So the first is from NeighborWorks Southern New Hampshire. Taking a moment for my page to load here, but you can see this group has added a cover photo, a logo. They have suggested donation levels, their story section where they've added a video and given some more information on what it is that they have been able to accomplish and what the need is in the community. And then they also have a lot of fantastic matches. So you can see this is what, if you were to set up a match on your page, this is an example of what it could look like. So again, there's great visibility into these matches that are available. Donors will be able to see ways that their gift can go further. And then I also want to share another organization here, Courier Museum of Art. So here again, they've added a great cover photo, their logo, and then they have really beautiful donation levels where they've added more imagery. And you can see a little bit more of not only what it looks like, but you can see kind of some of their work in action here. So they also have a story section, or excuse me, a video in their story section and some more information here. So great work for both of these organizations. Hopefully that gives some inspiration. So in terms of what is next, the first thing is definitely check out the nonprofit toolkit. This is a fantastic resource that has a lot of great information and content to help you help ease the getting started process. We have templates for social media and email messages. So if you're not really sure where to start in terms of spreading the word or letting folks know that you're participating in the Giving Day, check out those templates. We also have downloadable graphics that you can use. Studies show that, especially on social media, posts that use visuals like images or graphics tend to get way more engagement. So we recommend that anywhere you are spreading the word about New Hampshire Gives, you are using the provided graphics. There's also resources for board members, for volunteers and staff members, and also for peer-to-peer fundraisers. So if you want to get started on peer-to-peer fundraising, even before the training that's coming up, you're welcome to check out those resources to get kind of a preview on how to get started. And then of course, there is a link to the trainings page where we have not only a link to register for upcoming trainings, but all past trainings like this one included have the recording and the slides shared there so that you can view that content. And then we also have some pre-recorded training from GiveGab on other topics. So beyond the live webinars, there's content that you can check out right away. Like I mentioned, the how to tell your story component. So in terms of next steps, things to work on over the next month or so. First, follow New Hampshire Gives on social media and start spreading the word online by using the hashtag New Hampshire Gives, or NHGives rather, in any posts that you're making. If you haven't already, maybe share a save the date announcement or a participation announcement. Let folks know that your organization is participating in New Hampshire Gives and that they should save the date. Watch your inbox for important emails, both from GiveGab, especially regarding your verification status. And additionally, watch for emails from the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits on important announcements as well. Meet internally to discuss your goals and whether you want to incorporate peer-to-peer fundraising or matches and challenges into your participation strategy this year. And then sign up for the upcoming webinars. I know there's going to be a lot of great content that's covered in the future, so don't miss those. And of course, explore the nonprofit toolkit. Again, there's a lot of great content. Kelly shared it in the chat, so go ahead and check that out. Now, I know that we're just right at the end of our time here, so thanks everyone for sticking with us through all of this jam-packed content. I'm really excited to see how everyone, does for New Hampshire Gives this year. I know it's going to be another great year, and the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits has a lot of great stuff in the works. We do have time for questions. I think it's possible that a couple of questions came through during the webinar. Happy to hang out for a couple more minutes for folks who do have questions and want to stick around. So I think, Kelly, you may have seen a couple questions come through already. Is there anything that you want to reshare with the larger group?
I think that the only one here, Merlin took care of answering. So I'm not seeing anything at this point that was unanswered.
Perfect. Thanks, Merlin. Okay. Well, if anybody does have questions, please at this point, go ahead and submit them in the chat, and I'll just keep an eye out for that in case there are. And in the meantime, if let's say you have a question, later today or tomorrow, you can always reach out to the GiveGab support team. If it's a question about the GiveGab platform or technical information, setting up your page, et cetera, really any of the content that I covered today. But if you have a question specific for for either Deborah or Kelly, I know there's an email link posted in the chat as well, so you can email them with those questions. Oh, I did see a question that just came through that says, is there a specific link to start our profile? That's a good question. So in order to start your profile, you will need to apply to participate. So that would be the first step. If you haven't done that yet, you'll actually want to go right to nhgives.org and click on the Apply Now button. From there, you'll be prompted to review some of the application preparation information. Be sure to read all of this information. It is very important to review and get all the details before you do apply to participate. So review this information, make sure that you are eligible to participate based on what's outlined here first. And then if based on this information, you do feel that you're eligible, you can click the Apply Now button, which will prompt you to search your organization's name up here, and then follow the prompts to fill out your application and go from there. So if you haven't done that process yet, that's the first step to start. And then once you've completed that and your application has been submitted, you will have a GiveGab dashboard where you can go through the details that I just reviewed a few slides ago in terms of each of those sections on the page. So you can start filling that out even before your participation has been approved, though I know that the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits team is moving quickly to review that information and reach out if there are any additional questions.
Thank you, Laurel. You are amazing as always with all of this information that makes my brain explode. And thank you everyone for being here. Like Laurel said, you can reach out to GiveGab, you can reach out to us. No question is, there are no stupid questions. Sometimes I have stupid answers maybe, but the other thing, honestly, when you guys ask me questions, half the time I go to Google and type in GiveGab and then whatever your question was, and one of those GiveGab help articles comes up because they have thought of every question. And so I don't even go to this page, I just Google it and put in GiveGab and the question and it comes up. So there's all kinds of ways to get answers, but don't hesitate to reach out. We love hearing from you, and we're excited to be doing this again. New Hampshire Gives is definitely my favorite part of my job, and that's partly because all of you are so wonderful to work with. So let's see, do you have information to share about the swag? Yes. If you go to the New Hampshire Gives homepage and scroll most of the way down, you will see a button that says, what does it say, Laurel? More.
It says
shop.
It says shop.
So you can click on that and you'll go to a page where you'll see t-shirts and mugs and stickers and sweatshirts. And so you can look through that and order anything that you like. It'll go directly to you. This is a Cafe Press site, so it's totally managed by them. We just set up the products. I hope that people will use it. I think it's kind of cool. We've done t-shirts for our staff in the past, and I've had people say, oh, I wish I had a t-shirt or something like that. So this year we just put it out there, and makes great gifts for your peer-to-peer fundraisers or for your top donor, or whatever it is that who you want to recognize. There are options to buy some of these things in bulk, like the bumper stickers. You can get 50 instead of for a better price than paying for one. So I'm kind of excited about it. I haven't placed my order yet, but I'm going to.
I'm just seeing a question here from Jean about do peer-to-peer fundraisers need to be other nonprofits, and those that peer-to-peer fundraisers are typically individuals that are supporting your nonprofit.
Yeah, and what I'm excited about this year is that with that, campaign name, it can be like, let's say there's a company that wants to support you. They could actually have somebody go in and create a peer-to-peer fundraiser and put their company name and then share their link out to all of their employees to share out to their friends. So there's a lot of new possibilities with peer-to-peer with that. You can have groups fundraise together, so you're not, you don't have to be the only peer-to-peer fundraiser sending out the link. You can do it with your family. That would be cool. So yeah, peer-to-peer can be just about anybody. It can be your board members. It can be, you can be, your staff can be peer-to-peer fundraisers. It can be your volunteers. It can be somebody who just signs up online. So anybody.
Wonderful. Well, I haven't seen any other new questions come in.
Oh,
We can maybe wait one more moment.
All right, great. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon, and send your questions if they come to you after this. Definitely let us know.